Hi guys, in this video I'm gonna tell you how C++ works behind the scene. So let's get started. So let me open VS Code, make it to full screen and create a new file. Let's say main.cpp. Let me write some code here. Include iostream, then in main std cout. Let's be hello world std and so this is the code I wanted to write, and this is our first code which we have written. uh, let's see how C++ works behind the scene. So when it starts compiling, it first gets this hash. And what does this hash mean? So anything that begins with a hash is a preprocessor statement. Yes, it is a preprocessor statement. What it means is, when it start processing the statements, and when it hits a hash, it first processes after anything that hash, that is include iostream, and then it continues processing the file. Then this include, what does it mean? So include will find a file that is iostream, and it will take all the contents of that file and just paste into this file. So this is what include does. It literally copies everything from this file, from this iostream file inside the main file. And these files, these iostream files, are also called as header files. So a CPP file in our project gets compiled, and a header file do not compile. So this header file, it do not compile at it's just the CPP file that compiles. Remember, header files gets included by preprocessor statements called include. So it is included by preprocessor statement called include into a CPP file, and that's when they get compiled. Okay, so here the reason we are including this iostream is because we need a declaration for function called cout. Yeah, so this iostream contains this function cout. So the next is the main function. So what is this main function? Why are we writing this thing? So every C++ program has something like this. What is it? So the main function is the entry point of our application. So basically, when it when the file runs, this function is the entry point of our application. Every C++ program has a main function which by default has a type int. This int main function's default type is int, but we do not return anything because main function is actually a special case. In CPP, main function is actually a special case where we do not return anything, even though we specify the return type as int. So if you do not return anything, then it is assumed that you are returning 0. This only applies to main function. So every CPP file will be compiled into an object file. So let's go through this diagram. So we have our preprocessor statements here, we have a code here, we have this file main.cpp. Then what it does is it goes to a compiler. A compiler behind the scene compiles the code and create a main.obj file. This is an object file which name is exactly the same as the source file, just the extension changes. So an object file has been created by a compiler. This object file contains the entire preprocessor code plus our code. So that's what I meant when I said it literally copies the preprocessor's files code into our code. So this code will be a this file will be a binary file, or it can be a machine language file. Then when we have this another example.cpp file, and when we compile it by the compiler, the compiler executes the file and gets us an example.obj file. And this we have a preprocessor statement here, and a code, and our code, and the object file contains the entire preprocessor statements code and our code. So once we get both of these files, we want to stitch this file into a single file. So how we can get this file into a single file? So linker comes into the picture. This is where linker comes into the picture, and linker will stitch this file into a single file and give us an executable file, .exe file. So this is how the C++ works behind the scene. So let's write some code and check it out. Let's go to VS Code, and we have this main.cpp file. Let's compile this code. And g++ main.cpp, enter. So we have compiled this code, and an executable file has been created. As you can see here, a.exe file is being created. This is an executable file. Let's run this executable file and click enter. So you can see that we have our output here. Let's say that we create a new file, example.cpp. What we need is, we want to include iostream, copy paste. Let's say void example, and it will take a string message, and what will it will print the message. Yeah, that's it. So if you don't know what this char star does, is star means it is a pointer and character is a data type. So this is where we get a string here. So it stores a string. Pointer of a character stores a string here of name message, and we are printing that message via this function. If you don't know about this pointer and character, don't worry, I will be explaining it in future videos. So let's compile this. Let's say we delete this a.exe file. I wanted to show you something. Let's say we compile it g++ main.cpp. Okay, before compiling, let me declare the function which we have written here. I want to show you something. Let's say void example and const char. So we have declared the function here. So what happens here, that we haven't written any body of this function. We have just declared it. And definition of a function means that we create a function and we write its body. So we have a function name, we have its body. This is the entire definition of a function. And if we just create a function without any body, then that is declaration. Let's see what happens. We compile both the file. G++ main.cpp, example.cpp, and yeah, so it just got compiled. That means we didn't get any error. What happened here is, we told we told the compiler that we have declared this function. So what compiler does is, it literally trusts us that there is a function called example, and it trusts us and it doesn't give any error. So let's run the executable file, and here we have this. Okay, I forgot to call the function. Let's call the function. Let's remove this. Let's say example, and what message do we print, let's say hello world, or let's just say hello to differentiate things. Let's do this file, let's recompile everything. So we got this executable file, let's run it, and there you go, we have this hello. So what just happened? So as I told you that both these files got compiled, and we got an .obj file behind the scene. It created a obj file of both the file, but now it had to link both of these file. So what did linker do is linker got this two file and linked everything into an executable file, single executable file, which is this a.exe file, and it gave us an output as hello. So this is how the C++ works behind the scene. So if you like it, do share it and subscribe the channel. Thank you.